Happy New Year. Stephen Koukoulas here, Economist in residence at Zagga. And we're kicking off 2024 with the economy in a really interesting position. The good news is that inflation is coming down, that it's going to be within the RBA target during the course of this year. And that means, of course, the interest rate hikes of the prior, 18 months or 2 years have worked. Inflation's under control. And as the money markets are pricing in, and I fully endorse this, that the next move in interest rates is going to be down. There's a debate going on as we speak about when that might occur. When's the first rate cut? Probably around mid-year. It's very hard to pinpoint the exact month, but around mid-year we should start to see, a gentle interest rate easing cycle coming through. And then how many rate cuts will there be in this cycle? I think it's important to emphasise right now, here and now, we are not going back to where interest rates were during the pandemic. We're not going to get 400 basis points of rate cuts. More likely we're going to see the Reserve Bank being cautious, nudging rates down every few months as the inflation rate remains in control and the economy slows down. So at this juncture, it looks like we might get 1 percentage point, maybe 1.5 percentage points of rate cuts over the course of the next, 12 to 24 months. So it'll be a welcome relief to the economy that we're going to be getting that inflation under control and interest rates cuts coming through. And that's good news for the economy. The other thing which is just crept up on us, very relevant to the Zagga crowd here, in addition to the interest rate question, is that dwelling construction is just starting to inch up. Now, by inching up, of course, it doesn't sound all that exciting, but you remember the headwinds that the residential and even non-res construction sector of the economy was facing over the last couple of years. Higher interest rates, really strong building cost growth, labour shortages, and of course just this general feeling that the economy was sort of sluggish. Now, in those circumstances, we've actually had monthly dwelling building approvals edging up from around about 12,500 a month at the beginning of 2023. Most recent numbers about 14,500. So that's a nice 10-15% increase, admittedly from a really low base, and we've still got a lot more to do. But when you look at, again, population dynamics, a big increase in population growth, you look at the other key issues. The dwelling cost construction side has eased, that those input costs are moderating, which is good news. Skill shortages are easing, that's good news. And as I mentioned, if interest rates are cut during the course of this year, then that threshold for new construction activity starts to dissipate. So my factor X, if I can call it that, for the next year or two is that we get a surprising upswing in dwelling construction, partly because we need them. And the government, again, is trying to encourage the LGAs to have a more, progressive approach to approving properties. And things like the Rosehill Racecourse development, I know that's many years down the track, but don't forget the government does want there to be 1.2 million new dwellings built over the next 5 years. Ambitious, to be sure, but even if they get close to it, it's actually a pretty positive outlook for the construction sector. Other things that are concerning me, of course, is that we've got the labour market weakening. The unemployment rate will creep up. That will have implications for house prices. I'm a little bit negative on house prices, and it might sound odd even with interest rate cuts coming through, but my negativity on house prices is more to do with the labour market. If we get a bit of a jump in the unemployment rate, remembering that we've already had unemployment going from 3.4% to 3.9%, I think we get to 4.5% during this year, maybe even a little higher, that just puts a damper on housing. People can't borrow if you're unemployed, and it has implications for the bank's willingness to lend. So, look, it's going to be a tough first half of 2024, I think, for the economy. But when we get to the second half, the tax cuts that we're hearing so much about will come through. If we get interest rate cuts and inflation's under control, then the second half of 2024 will be a better year for the economy. And we could even have a pretty strong outlook for 2025. Look forward to chatting to everybody over the course of 2024 on these and a whole bunch of other really important issues. And thanks to Zagga, I hope it's a good year for everybody. Cheers.